Water is Water by Miranda Paul, illustrations by Jason Chin. Water is water. Drip, sip, pour me a cup. Water is water. Unless it heats up. Whirl, swirl, watch it curl by. Steam is steam. Unless it cools high. A dragon in a wagon. A crow kneading dough. Clouds are clouds, unless they form low. Misty, twisty, where is town? Fog is fog, unless it falls down. Patter, splatter, what's that sound? Rain is rain, unless on the ground, slosh in galoshes, splash to your knees. Puddles are puddles, unless puddles freeze. Glide, slide, put on the brakes. Ice is ice, unless it forms flakes. Pack, stack, shape it, and smack. Snow is snow, unless spring comes back. Creep, seep, squish in your boots. Mud is mud, unless there are roots. Swig, grow big, reach for the best. Apples are apples, unless they get pressed. Drip, sip, pour me a cup. Cider is cider, unless we drink it up. More about water. Water moves and changes often, just like children. Also like people, each drop of water travels its own unique path. This story shows only some of many creative ways that water moves and changes over the seasons. Although the characters in this book sometimes heat up, drink, or play with water, nature usually moves and transforms water all by itself through the water cycle. In Water is Water, a cup of water begins the cycle as a liquid, but then it heats up. The white swirl that rises above the boiling pot or cup of cocoa is still water, but we call it steam. It will become an invisible gas in the air. Did you know that the sun, not people, heats up most of the water without forming swirls of visible steam? It turns it into gas. Whichever way it happens, the process is called evaporation. It cools high, and as an invisible gas, water is called vapor. Once vapor reaches cooler air, often high in the sky, vapors form clouds. This is called condensation. They form low. When water vapor cools and condensation and condenses close to the ground, the clouds that form are called fog. Fog is not as common as high-flying clouds and plays a very small part in the water cycle. Bus drivers must be very thankful for that. It falls down. Once water droplets inside any clouds become too heavy, they fall down as precipitation. Though rare, water droplets in fog can drip and drizzle down, but most precipitation comes from higher clouds. Whenever water falls down from the clouds as a liquid, it's called rain. On the ground, water moves on top of the ground. Water that moves on top of the ground is called runoff, which often collects puddles in lakes and rivers and oceans. Puddles freeze. When temperatures drop below a certain point, 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, water turns into a solid form called ice. It forms flakes. Snow is made in the sky when bits of ice form crystals around specks of dust or pollen. As they fall, vapors freeze and stick to each crystal to make flakes. Spring comes back. When temperatures warm up, the snow melt runs off into streams and rivers. Along the way, some water mixes with dirt to make mud. There are roots. Seepage happens when water creeps down from the top of the dirt to the small spaces underground. When plant roots absorb this water, it's called uptake. This helps them to grow and produce fruit. They get pressed. Although apples are solid, the water inside makes them plump and juicy. Squeezing them releases the liquid. We drink it up. Did you know that you are mostly made up of water? Drink up water every day to stay as amazing as you already are. An apple is 84% water. A baby is about 78% water. Earthworms are about 80% water. Water is everything. A garter snake is about 74% water. A turtle is almost 70% water. You are about 65% water. A cat is about 80% water. An oak tree is about 75% water. Water is everywhere. Water covers 71% of the Earth's surface. Of all the water in the world, the oceans hold 96.5%, which is all salt water. Of all the fresh water in the world, more than 69% is trapped as ice and snow, and about 30% is underground. All the water in the clouds and puddles and mud and plants in your cup doesn't even add up to 1% of our total freshwater supply. Water is important. Water may seem to appear and disappear, but the total amounts of water the Earth hasn't changed in millions of years and will stay the same for millions more. Although water changes form and gets called by different names, new water is not created and old water is not destroyed. but doesn't mean that we should take water for granted. In fact, people can only drink way less than 1% of the water on Earth. Almost every time we use water to brush our teeth, take a bath, or flush the toilet, we add things that make it dirty. It is important to conserve it so that we'll be safe and clean water for everyone. Water is water.